So when you think about the word education, what really comes to mind first? Is it, just classrooms, textbooks, getting ready for a job?
hmm
Or could it actually be something, well, much older, something deeper, kind of woven right into civilization itself?
That's a really great place to start. Because, yeah, what we think of as modern school, it's just the latest phase.
Right.
Education's always been this central pillar for human societies. It's way more than just learning facts. It's how cultures continue, how societies move forward. It's like this thread, really.
A thread running through history. I like that. And today, we're going to try and untangle that thread a bit using this really interesting framework: preserving the past, managing the present, and shaping the future.
Yeah, it sounds like a neat tagline, but it actually does a surprisingly good job of capturing how education has evolved, function-wise, over, well, millennia.
And we're basing this deep dive on an analysis by Shiva Narayan Takshila-Page called Education's Evolving Purpose, Past, Present, and Future. It really helps clarify why education even exists, right?
Yeah.
And how it keeps adapting.
Exactly. It shows how its purpose shifts depending on what society needs at the time.
So, for you listening, our mission today is to explore that journey. How education, starting from its, earliest forms, kept changing to meet new needs. We'll look at everything from keeping ancient wisdom alive to, well, training people for today's jobs.
And hopefully, understanding these sort of long-lasting functions gives some real insight into why our learning systems look the way they do now.
Yeah, and maybe how they equip us or don't for what's coming next. So let's dive in.
Okay. So if we go way back, education really started out first orally and then with writing, mainly to preserve things. Traditions, religious texts, laws, important knowledge. It was like society's first shot at collective memory.
Makes sense. The goal was basically don't lose this stuff. But how did that preservation actually shape things back then? Like, who held the knowledge? What did that mean?
Well, that's key. Initially, with just oral tradition, everything was kind of fragile, dependent on memory.
Yeah, easily lost.
Totally. But then you get writing cuneiform, hieroglyphs. That was a game changer. Huge leap. Suddenly you could document things, make knowledge last.
And the people who could read and write.
Exactly, the scribes. They became incredibly influential, not just record keepers, but gatekeepers of information.
Yeah.
That gave them real power.
Mm.
And later on, think medieval times, it was monasteries, libraries.
Yeah.
They were the crucial spots saving manuscripts through all the chaos. This whole preserving function built the foundation, the bedrock, for everything that came later.
Okay, so preserving the past feels like a really solid starting point. But societies grew, right? They got more complex. They didn't just need to remember things. They needed to function, to act.
Precisely.
I'm guessing that's where managing the present comes into the picture.
Absolutely. As civilizations got bigger empires, city-states just running the place became a massive job. You needed administration, lots of it.
Right, not just a king or a council. You needed people to actually do the work.
Exactly. Trained officials, literate bureaucrats. So education shifted. It became a tool for, well, managing the present. Statecraft, efficiency, organization.
How did that look on the ground? Like in ancient Egypt or Rome?
Well, you saw schools pop up specifically for scribes, clerks, accountants. Think ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, China. These places trained the people who made the bureaucracy work, collecting taxes, enforcing laws, overseeing big projects like irrigation or pyramids.
The administrative backbone.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, education broadens again. Includes diplomacy, law, statecraft. Learning gets directly tied to the demands of running a modernizing state. It's about keeping things orderly, preventing chaos, allowing society to actually function and grow.
Okay, so we've got preserving the past, managing the present. Then things really speed up, right? Like the Industrial Revolution must have thrown a huge wrench in the works, forcing education to look ahead, to start shaping the future.
Oh, it was a massive shift. Suddenly, factories needed a whole new kind of worker. Someone who could, read manuals, do basic math, operate machines.
Different skills entirely.
Completely different. And that leads directly to widespread public education systems. The goal was basic literacy and numeracy for the masses. At the same time, you get technical schools, vocational training popping up, targeting those specific industrial jobs.
And universities started changing too.
Yeah, they began focusing more on applied sciences, engineering, less purely classical stuff. It was all about meeting the needs of this new industrial economy.
And that push continues today, doesn't it? But now it's about, like, the knowledge economy. Creativity, being adaptable, digital skills.
Right. It's not just about training for the jobs we have now, but fostering innovation, preparing people for constant change, maybe even for jobs that, frankly, don't exist yet.
Hmm.
Global collaboration, sustainability. These are the things shaping the future now.
So education is actively trying to build the skills and the mindset needed for whatever comes next.
Precisely. It's equipping societies to navigate uncertainty. And that's where you see this blend becoming so important: traditional knowledge, critical thinking, plus these adaptive tech skills. It's vital for individuals, but also for whole nations.
So we've walked through these three roles: preserving the past, managing the present, shaping the future. The study says they look distinct, but they're actually really tangled up together like an ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a key insight. They really feed into each other. You need that reserved past the history, the culture, to make smart decisions now in the present.
Okay, that makes sense.
And managing the present effectively, keeping society stable and running, well, that's what allows you to even think about the future, to plan for it.
Right, you can't innovate much if everything's falling apart.
Exactly. And then shaping the future, developing new skills, new ideas that loops back to help preserve knowledge through research and innovation. And it certainly helps manage the present more effectively with new tools and approaches. They're not separate boxes. They're constantly interacting.
So let's just quickly recap. Education has this sort of triple job: keep the cultural memory alive, make sure society runs smoothly day to day, and prepare people for what's next, driving growth and change. Those are the fundamentals.
Yes, but, and this is a really important point from the study, that balance often gets skewed. Many education systems today lean really heavily on just one part,
Which part, usually?
mostly the shaping the future part, but specifically in terms of workforce preparation, job skills.
Okay, so focusing hard on getting people ready for the job market. What's the downside? Seems practical.
It is practical. Short term, you can get quick economic gains, but the risk is long-term fragility. If you neglect preserving the past, you might lose your cultural identity, that shared sense of who you are.
Yeah.
And if you neglect future-oriented planning beyond just immediate jobs, things like civic engagement, critical thinking about society itself, you might not be able to adapt well to bigger, unforeseen challenges. You might fall behind. It's a real balancing act.
But it's not hopeless, right? The analysis suggests there are models that do a better job. Integrated models.
Yes, exactly. Systems that deliberately try to blend historical understanding, practical skills for managing things now, and that forward-looking, innovative spirit tend to be more adaptable, more resilient.
So how do we achieve that blend?
Well, the study highlights that education is so much more than just an economic engine. It's fundamental to civilization. It shapes who we are, where we're going. So for you, listening, understanding this balance is pretty crucial, especially when we think about things like education policy.
So policymakers need to think bigger than just job training.
Ideally, yes.
What?
Design systems that value all three. Keeping heritage alive, ensuring people can competently manage society now, and fostering genuine innovation for the future. Moving beyond just narrow job skills towards, well, more holistic ways of transferring knowledge.
Making sure people have roots while also having wings, kind of.
That's a nice way to put it. Ultimately, the path to, say, sustainable development isn't really choosing between tradition or innovation. It's about strategically blending them.
This triadic approach, as the source calls it: anchor yourself in the past, manage the present well, and build towards the future.
Exactly. That seems to be the recipe for long-term success, for cultural richness and social stability and progress.
So maybe a final thought for you to take away from this deep dive. Every decision we make about education today, big or small, is actually shaping the legacy of tomorrow.
That's right. By trying to consciously unite that historical insight, that present-day competence, and that readiness for the future, maybe we can create a more enduring cycle.
A cycle of cultural depth, stable societies, and real visionary progress. It's a powerful idea to consider.